Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever and whenever you are, and welcome to Take the Points,
a true underdog podcast.
Let's go. 2 weeks in a row, man. Look at us.
I love it. Look at us doing what we used to always do.
What's not surprising to me, though, is that, I'm making sure I'm getting on here while it's, peak basketball time.
Yep.
NBA trade deadline. We're less than a month away now from March. So March Madness, college hoops.
That's your time.
This is my time. So I'm not gonna go weeks without doing podcasts during my time of the year.
Yeah, this is you thrive, right? This was yeah. You're like Triple H circa 2000 when his theme song was "My Time." It's my time.
Wow. Yeah. Nice. I was laying in bed last night doing something that I used to do all the time. Yeah, wow, this is sounding a little bit too intimate.
You gotta wash those socks.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
No, something I used to say, and I did, and I have done for many years, which is lay in bed and watch hoops on my phone. But I was now doing it because we didn't used to have a TV in our room, and now we do.
Ooh.
So last night I was like, you know what? Meg is just going to sleep right through this. I'm just going to turn it on the TV. So I laid in bed and watched hoops on the TV.
Oh, man.
I was like, oh, wow. The Lakers game ended against the Knicks, and I was like, you know what? Might as well roll right into this OKC and Denver game. Why not? Watch them back to back.
Right.
And then I look at my phone, it's midnight, and I'm like, dude, I got to work tomorrow.
Yeah,
I got to turn this off.
The TV in bed is dangerous. We don't have a TV in our room, and I think that's the big reason is, it's bad enough getting carried away on the couch watching, one more episode. Or the worst is I'll say, we'll start one more episode of, Mayor of Kingstown. The next thing 40 minutes in, and I got to be up in 4 hours to go to the gym.
Yep.
Right? And, if it's in the room, I will just stay up and binge.
Well, you
all
say
night.
you got to get up in 4 hours and go to the gym. You choose to.
I choose to. Right.
You could stay up and watch Mayor of Kingstown and not go to the gym.
Great show, by the way. I don't know if you watched Mayor of Kingstown. It's fantastic.
Never.
Oh, man.
Never watched it.
It is great. Jeremy Renner at his best.
Oh, yeah. He's solid.
Yeah.
Well, it can't be as good as the NBA basketball that I've been watching, the Pistons especially.
Very good.
Dude, every game, even when we're blowing them out like we did yesterday where we blew out the Nets by 60 points, legit it was 130 to 77 or something ridiculous.
Yeah. Wasn't that our biggest win margin ever as a franchise?
It's 53 points.
The Nets.
But, yeah, they also got blown out.
What a bitch-ass club the Nets have turned into.
They really are, dude. But even watching that game, I was, deeply into the game, even while we're up by 40, because I'm like, dude, what's Danis Jenkins going to do? Oh, he's just going to come in and throw down massive dunks. We never seen him do that before. But he was, pounding, jackhammer dunks. I'm like, dang, too bad this guy chose not to sign that minimum deal. I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
that he didn't
I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. I think we talked about it in our text. I think he probably deserves a 3-year, $24 million deal.
He probably does. Yeah, looking at some of the other guys,
which is fine. That's nothing money in the NBA. When you look at God, what's his name? Sucks from Philly, Ben Simmons.
Oh God! Yeah.
He's making he's still getting paid. I think $50 million a year, isn't he, to not play?
I don't even want to know. That's terrible.
Yeah.
But he definitely deserves more than a minimum deal. And, but that's just the fact that we have guys like him and seeing what Marcus Sasser does when he comes in his limited minutes. He'll come in and he'll hit 5 shots in a row, and it's oh, dude, this guy doesn't even play.
Yeah.
And he's just dropping 10 points in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
It's crazy, the depth on this team.
The depth is key, and I think as we come into the trade deadline, that's probably, I think the best approach for teams in the trade deadline is deal from your strengths to address a weakness, and the strength is the depth. And you look at those guys, like Marcus Sasser can probably get more run on another team.
Yeah.
And his salary's like $2.8 million. He's dirt cheap. So what?
And look, he could get more run on our team if we trade Jaden Ivey.
Exactly.
And you plug in Sasser a little more.
Exactly. So what are you thinking? I mean, give me your expertise as the closest thing we have to an NBA superstar on the pod. Where,
dude, that is the farthest stretch of all.
And listen, you were the one who claimed it, right? You wanted to give us that player's perspective last year.
That's hilarious.
And then the karma came back because you blew your knee out.
Yeah, man.
Which, by the way, how are you hobbling around?
I'm feeling good, man.
Yeah.
The only thing is like jumping. I can jump, but if I try to jump, like, when you really go for it, when you really try to jump, like you're jumping as high as you can.
I haven't jumped in 9 years, dude. What are you talking about? Like,
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But that's the only time that I'm like a little bit scared is when I go all out jumping.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, get that 24-inch vert out.
Yeah. Which I definitely have.
Yeah.
But even just like, sprinting, fine. That's fine. It's only when I go airborne that I'm worried.
Well, we're good. We're glad to hear that. That prognosis positive.
But my expertise on the Pistons, I would say, we're 3 days away. The closer we get to the deadline, the more comfortable I feel with us making a move. I was on 97.1.
I heard that
on Thursday.
Shout out.
Yeah, they
to
were. Shout out to me. They were. I was not on because they brought me on because they know our podcast.
No.
I was on because I called the show
and waited for 13 minutes on hold.
Yes, and they put me on, and I called them because they were talking about Tobias Harris as if he was just a throwaway. Like, why are people attached to him? They're like, he's just Uncle T. He's just Unc.
Yeah,
and basically saying like, that's a given that he's gone. So, let's just throw him in whatever package for whoever we get. And I was like, hold on a second. Like, Tobias Harris is, what would you say he is right now for us on offense? Our second option?
Easily. He's easily our second option.
Like, unless you're going to call Duncan Robinson's, 8 or 9 3-point attempts a game as our second option, which I wouldn't. I would say he's our 3-point spot-up 3-point shooter option. But Tobias Harris is like, if you're going to give a guy the ball and it's not Cade, it's going to be Tobias. Like, near the end of the shot clock, I don't want somebody who's going to have to try to create a jack-up three like some of the guys who we're talking about potentially going and getting. Great players, Trey Murphy, Michael Porter Jr., obviously guys who you would want for your future more than Tobias if you can build teams with them in mind. But for this year, like, you can't just throw away Tobias and be like, yeah, well, we're going to have Michael Porter Jr. It's you lose something because Tobias is a back-to-the-basket player who you can give the ball with 7-8 seconds left in the shot clock, and he's going to create something. And he's got almost 50% field goal percentage. So he's not just like jacking up bad shots. He's creating real good shots in the mid-range. It's a lost art in the NBA. People are like, oh, it's a bad... What they said to me on the ticket was, that's the worst shot in the NBA. And I could see where you'd say that, of like, a two-pointer that's contested instead of a three. Typically, you don't want that. Tobias Harris is just really good at them. He makes them at a very high percentage.
Yeah, and it's just like anything else. You don't just not take those shots because they're low percent. You don't just only shoot threes, I guess, unless you're the Golden State Warriors who changed the game and started doing that. But for the most part, you have to have different facets to your game. And I think that the Tobias piece is important because I like Tobias as like a number 3 guy, right?
Yes.
Which means we need a number 2. So I don't want to give up our number 3 for a number 2. And that's where I think this trade deadline becomes important, where, you could do something small in the margins. And sorry, my son's crying in the background here.
Poor guy.
He's fine. He's just a baby, literally. You can get better in the margins and still have Tobias and improve on our weakness, which is shooting. But also, I think if you can make a move, like my slam dunk guy is Trey Murphy. I think you can get him in. He's not a power forward, so you'd want to keep Tobias around anyway. And if it costs you even Ron Holland, Jaden Ivey, and some draft picks, that's a squad.
I'll do that in a second.
Yeah, that's a squad you could run out, and then bring Tobias back on a team-friendly deal, a mid-level exception, right? And go add more in the offseason. That's how you build around Cade and a guy like Trey Murphy and bring in vets and Jalen Duren, right, who's now an all-star. Like, you build around that stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I understand that Tobias is not necessarily the number 2 scorer that you want. Like, you want to give Cade the best chance to win. Like, you want to win while you can. Like, we obviously are in a position right now that we haven't been in 20 years, which is we could potentially go for it this year. We could try to win it all this year. I love the way that the NBA has moved to where it's like a new team kind of comes out of nowhere and can win it every year. If you look at the last several years, like think about the winners just in the last 6-7 years. You've got the Bucks, you've got the Raptors, you've got the Thunder, the Nuggets won it in there, the Lakers won one, but it's like not repeat champions. Anybody's got a chance pretty much any year if you build the right team. There's not these crazy dynasties. So I love that. So you kind of got to go for it while you have it. I understand that. But at the same time, just because somebody's on an expiring contract doesn't mean you have to get rid of him if he's a huge part of your team, like Tobias is. And Tobias adds that extra element for us. So to your point, if we can get a shooter, a scorer to be additive, like Trey Murphy, if that's possible to bring him in and figure out the contracts and everything, that's not kind of what I really look at. It's more of a you thing. But if there's a way to make the money work and not trade Tobias and bring him in, that's so much better. That's so much better. Like giving up guys that like Ron Holland, he's like a Ausar Thompson type, just not as good. A little better shooter, but not as good all around. Jaden Ivey, he's 16, 18 minutes a game. We could bring in Danis Jenkins. We could bring in Marcus Sasser instead of him. Like, you have room there. Tobias, you don't have another one of him. So, yeah, that's the move that I don't want us to make is trading Tobias just because we're throwing him in a deal. Like, if we're trading Tobias, we have to have big upgrade. It's got to be for the right player, like a Lauri Markkanen type player, in my opinion, in order to get rid of him.
And I agree with you 100%. I think it's got to be a clean upgrade, and it's got to be a controllable upgrade for the future, right? Like a Lauri Markkanen, who's a guy who's going to be here for the next 5 years. Now, Lauri Markkanen's a lot harder to take on. He's got like a $50 million a year cap hit or something like that. So, I mean, give me Wilson. Give me some names of some guys that you like. I tossed out Trey Murphy. I think that's a guy that I think fits right in, especially if you can keep Tobias from a contract moving the salary match perspective. He's only on a $25 million a year deal. It's probably going to cost Holland, Ivy, and Karis LeVert, right? And maybe you have maybe you have to take on a shittier contract as well. In return, but you're also probably going to toss in 3 first-round picks in that deal. Tell me, would you do that deal that works? That works from the books perspective, and then give me a counter trade that you've cooked up while you're laying in bed watching hoops.
Yeah, I think that might be a little too steep for me for Murphy to be. What got me was when you said the 3 first-round picks. Like that feels like a lot. And, you know, once again, like, we have to go for it now. So if they decide that's what they got to do, I'm not going to be mad about it because I think that's a move that would immediately make us better. Like, Ivy would be the biggest player you lose in that deal. And clearly, you know, Murphy's an upgrade there at this point. And LeVert is not even playing, and he was bad when he did play. And Ron Holland's an energy guy, so if that's the trade is those 3 guys and first round picks, I mean you do lose some energy and some defense with Ron Holland, but like I said, he's very similar player to Ausar. Ausar can get more minutes, and then I think the other guy who's going to come in to fill some of that is you're probably going to have a little bit more run from Danis Jenkins, and then you got to switch around your lineups a little bit. With that move.
And I like Duncan coming off the bench, right, for Trey Murphy in that situation. That's just depth, right? Depth 3-point shooting. Another point that you made, too, really quickly on the Ron Holland energy piece. I will say this. We all kind of thought, at least I did, when Malik Beasley got busted for illegal gambling. And it was clear that he wasn't going to be a returning part of this team. I had some concern, and I think some of us did too, about him being an energy guy that we would miss and be kind of that glue guy that have like that kind of negative impact with him not being around. And we haven't really missed a step with him being gone. So I don't know if maybe Ron Holland is the reason why we didn't miss a step. That's certainly plausible. We're not in the locker room. We don't know. But like that could be something that just the culture of the team itself under JB will thrive no matter who's there.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I would probably have to think. I would probably think about that deal for a day or two if I was Pistons, if I was Trajan Langdon, and you wouldn't have that much time. But if I had that much time, I would think about it, and then I'd come to the conclusion of, yeah, we got to do that. We got to make that deal. But the other names, and they've kind of been thrown out there, but that I'm most interested in would be Norman Powell, all-star reserve. Like, he's an all-star. You're bringing him in. You're going to have to give some good things up. I mean, I think he's a little bit older, actually. He is, what is he, 32. So not a player that you're looking to, like, build on, even though he's a first-time all-star now. You know, you're not looking to make him, like, your next 4 years of him and Cade. Maybe, but by the time he's 36, you know, is he still going to be performing this same way? I don't know. He's just had a lights out year offensively. Great scorer, could be that second right now. He could be somebody that we bring in this year and, you know, try to pair with Cade for this year and next year and see if they can make something happen. Now, what we'd probably have to give up for him, once again, I'd lean on you for the contracts. But I would think it'd probably be a similar thing where we're giving up probably a couple first-round picks. You're giving up Jaden Ivey. You're giving up Ron Holland. I think it would be a similar package. I'd love that. I think we maybe could get him cheaper than Murphy. So that would be you can't really say a move in the margins when you're bringing in an all-star. But so it would still be a big move, but I think it would be a little less expensive. And then the other one would be Jaren Jackson Jr. that everybody's talking about, which I think would be a really good move, especially if we're giving up Ron Holland in that mix, because Jaren Jackson Jr. is such a great defensive player, and our team's DNA is defense. We've got a top 2 defense in the league. And if you're giving up Ron Holland, who's a great defensive player, but you're bringing back a guy like JJJ, dude, then you probably get better on defense actually, and he can score. I mean, he's not like a shot creating guard, but he scores in a lot of other ways. And to put him in with Duren, and then you got Isaiah Stewart coming off the bench. I mean, that's pretty sick. Like that's kind of exciting. Tobias is probably gone in that situation.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, he's definitely gone. And, I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. that's a big name. That's a big trade. That's probably going to be your most expensive piece, I would assume, unless for whatever reason Memphis is willing to take a little less, because here's what we have to remember, too, with the trade deadline is there's the haves and the have-nots in the NBA. And it's not just like, oh, we have a good team or we have a shitty team. The teams that are shitty, the teams that are going to be looking at rebuilding, like the Memphis Grizzlies, for instance, if they move on from Ja Morant, they're going to be facing a rebuild, right? They've already committed to building around Ja Morant earlier. So to rebuild, you have to move off from all of that. No team wants to be, finish the season 24-60 or whatever it is, and have 58. Thank you. No one wants to be 24-58 and then be paying guys $50 million a year, right? Like you'd rather just tank and rebuild and collect draft assets. So there's a possibility with Jaren Jackson Jr. if the Grizzlies go full rebuild, that the price would be a little less. There'd be a little less sticker shock with them just wanting to get off of that deal. But at the same time, every like a stretch four who's defensive player of the year caliber, every team in the league could use that.
Yeah, I think the deal, the package you'd have to put together for Jaren Jackson, for Lauri Markkanen, I think they'd be kind of similar. Like, it'd probably be Tobias, he'd probably be Ron Holland, he'd probably be Jaden Ivey, and it'd probably be 3 draft picks. Like, it's, and maybe a couple seconds. It's like, you're probably giving up 4 or 5 picks. Yeah. Tobias, Ivy, and Holland, and like, if they would do that, I would probably do it for either of those players. Those would be the only massive moves that I'm really willing to make is for a player of that caliber, like Markkanen and Jaren Jackson. You're talking about guys who I can't remember if Jaren Jackson's ever been an All-Star, but certainly has the potential to either he has been or has the definite potential to be. Like, if he was on our team right now and we had this record we have, it would be him that's an all-star instead of Jalen Duren. Like, no doubt. So you got to be bringing in a guy like that who's going to make your team just way better from immediately if you're getting rid of all those guys, and especially Tobias.
Yeah.
Like, if we're just – now let me talk about the other one that everybody's been talking about. It's just Michael Porter Jr. I'm not excited about trading Tobias and draft picks and Ivy for Michael Porter Jr., even though the guy can shoot, even though the guy can score, even though the guy was on the Nuggets when they won the championship. We don't have Nikola Jokic. Cade Cunningham is great, but he's not Nikola Jokic, okay? He's going to create for you, but not in the same way that the Joker does. Like, you can't compare those two players. You're talking about one of the greatest of all time, multi-time MVP. Now, is Cade potential to be an MVP at some point? Sure, but he's still not able to facilitate, draw the same type of attention and kick out and create space the same way that Jokic did for Michael Porter Jr. And now you look at him on the Nets. And sure, he might drop 30 points.
Yeah.
He's the only player on their team, as you see it. We just beat them by 53 yesterday. Like, of course he's going to score 30 points because he's going to take 100 shots.
Yep.
So I think people see, like, he won with the Nuggets, and he's a great scorer on the Nets. But it's not – I don't think he would be scoring 30 points.
And the Nuggets had Jamal Murray. They had –
Aaron Gordon,
that was a good. He was the 3rd or 4th option on a really good team.
Yes, he would be our number 2.
Yes, and that's where I think. Again, I kind of put Michael Porter Jr. in. I wouldn't hate to see it. I mean, he's a lights out shooter. We need that. Trading Tobias for him, I think, is going to be roughly just a net neutral move. Right, where you're still going to need kind of like that number 2 guy. I think Michael Porter Jr. is a good number 3. I think Tobias Harris is a good number 3, although I'll be an aging veteran version of that. So, and I look at it the same way as you do, Wilson. I'm not in love with Michael Porter Jr. And I think just the fact, like, you're putting up great numbers on a shitty Nets team.
Yeah,
like you have to take that into consideration too when you're evaluating these guys.
I mean, Cam Thomas was doing that for the Nets a couple of years ago. It's just like when you don't have anybody else on the team, somebody's going to score.
Yes, you're going to get to 80. You're going to get to 90 points in the NBA no matter what. Someone's going to get you there.
Exactly. So I don't think Michael Porter Jr. is a bad player at all. Like, if we were going to add him and not to sell the farm for him, if we were able to add him and bring him in, like, and you keep Tobias somehow and you don't give up multiple first-round picks, like, sure, that's great. Let's bring in Michael Porter Jr. But if we're trading Tobias, multi-first-round picks, we're probably giving up Jaden Ivey too, or like, other trade assets. It's just too much. It's too much for him, and I don't think it's gonna be. Michael Porter Jr. is not going to be the reason that we win a championship if we're getting rid of Tobias and Jaden Ivey and losing depth and losing Tobias. We're not going to go from where we wouldn't have been able to win it to now all of a sudden we're a contender to win it because of bringing him in and getting rid of those guys. It's just not a move that gets you there, in my opinion.
That's a great way to put it, right? What's you want? I think you either want you're looking for that swing move, right? What's the move that swings us from like, oh, we could do this to oh, shit, like we got a great shot of doing this now, right?
Yeah, and that's Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, think about those guys, adding them with Cade, and like you've still got Duncan Robinson shooting. You've still got
still hold on to Asar Thompson. Yep.
You still have Asar.
Jalen Duren.
Yeah, you still have Duren. Like, now it's like, oh God, okay, that's a squad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing I look at too with this trade deadline is in the next 3 seasons, right? 26, 27, and 28, we have 8 second-round draft picks. And you know as well as I do, right? What gets deals done for those marginal moves is second-round picks. You look at a guy like maybe like Max Christie or even like Klay Thompson, who Dallas is in full rebuild. They got to get picks back. A couple good second-round picks where you look at some of them from teams like Milwaukee in 2027, that's going to be an early second-rounder, essentially a late first-rounder, right? Same thing with picks from Brooklyn or Dallas or Charlotte or the Clippers, right? These are high-value second-round picks that I think can get some of those marginal moves done for a guy like that. What do you think about those guys, like a Max Christie or like a Klay Thompson? Let's say it costs you 3 second-round picks and Marcus Sasser for Klay Thompson.
Oh man, I'd be stoked about that. I think we'd probably have to give a little bit more. Like, I think we might have to throw, like, it might be Jaden Ivey instead of Marcus Sasser. Yeah. Which even that, like, I'm cool with that. Jaden Ivey's a good player. He's just clearly not being utilized to his full potential on this team, and that must be because JB Bickerstaff and the organization doesn't feel like he's the right fit to be getting those kind of minutes and to be adding that offensively to the team. Like, for whatever reason, we kind of talked about it in the years past with Cade. Like, maybe they're just not the right dynamic. So if that's the case and we aren't going to use him like that, then let's trade him and bring in. I love Max Christie. I mean, he's a Spartan dog. He's a scorer. And Klay Thompson, too. I would be completely fine if the Pistons' only moves that they make in this trade deadline are some of those more low-key moves where it's like, yeah, let's bring in Klay Thompson, and maybe they also bring in another stretch 4 off the bench or something. And we get rid of some of the duplicity that we have between Sasser and Jenkins and Ivy.
And LeVert, yes.
And LeVert, and like, we replace some of that duplicativeness with a guy and then a stretch 4, like a shooter and then a stretch 4 that are better. So we still have depth, and we didn't make any crazy shakeups to the team. We didn't sell our future, but we still get better. Like, I'm okay with that at this trade deadline. You can make more moves in the offseason.
Yep. Yeah, I am too, and I think you're right. That's probably the more caliber of move that we're going to make. From a salary perspective, Klay Thompson works, Jaden Ivey and 2 second-round picks, I think is fair for someone like that. And then if we look at so I'm doing this live, I'm doing this in real time, so bear with me.
I love this.
If you look like someone like, we talked about Max Christie, he's on a $7.5 million contract.
He's way too cheap. That's way too cheap for him.
You can honestly give up 4 second-round picks for him, or even just your 2026 first rounder. If you want to be,
I would do that. Yeah, I would do that.
Right, and say, hey, here's the 28th pick in the 2026 draft. Right, and
for Max Christie, you're not going to get a. Yeah, man, you're not going to get a player like Max Christie. More likely than not, you're not going to get a player like Max Christie at the 28th pick in most drafts. But
right.
I'd be willing to even give him a first-round pick and 2 second-round picks.
Yeah,
honestly,
I would too. And for us, that we have the big thing too to think about is we have this trade exception, this $14.5 million trade exception we can use, so we can take on $14.5 million contracts and not have to send anything back. Right, so anybody that's under $14.5 million a year, Klay doesn't fit this mold. But like a Max Christie, like basically take him and give away draft picks. You don't have to send anything out in return. You'd end up waiving like I don't know.
I forgot that trade exception that we have. Would we get that from Dennis Schroeder or what?
Yeah, from Dennis Schroeder. Yeah. So you'd end up waiving like a Isaac Jones or somebody like that, which is fine. You know,
I don't even think he's suited up for us. Did he play?
Right?
Ever?
No, I don't think he has. So yeah, so those are the types of moves. I'm with you. I think we'll certainly do something like that. It doesn't mean you can't do that and then also go and trade for like a Trey Murphy. I know I always bring Trey Murphy back up. Trajan Langdon was in New Orleans when they drafted him. I think he's a big fan of Trey Murphy, and I think he does bring a complementary skill set here, especially if you were to add or to keep Tobias around and add somebody like a Max Christie. That would be a move where I would say, okay, like we got a good shot to make a deep run here.
Yeah. Okay. So summary for me, I'm okay with the Trey Murphy deal that you outlined, where we don't give up Tobias, we give up multiple first round picks and some of those other guys. That's cool. I'm also okay with bringing in Jaren Jackson Jr. or Lauri Markkanen with a bigger deal. It's a flashier move. It's a risk because of where we sit right now and how good this team is. It's a risk, but it's like kind of like you got to go for it while we have the opportunity and try to win it all this year. I'll be not okay with it if it's a name outside of those two that's not at that caliber, like getting rid of Tobias and all the picks and that stuff. Without getting one of those caliber guys, not okay with that.
Right,
and then also, you go ahead.
Like Miles Bridges is the last name I'll bring up, is that was a name that was tossed around there a little bit too.
That's another one for me where, similarly to Michael Porter Jr.,
it's in that same category.
It's in the same category as Michael Porter Jr. Where like if we're getting rid of Tobias and Ivy and we're giving up picks, like Miles Bridges is not going to be enough of a change from that to win us the championship this year, in my opinion. Like, he's just not. He plays for a bad team. He's a Spartan dog, and he's a great player. I love him. But he's not enough to take this team to the next level in comparison to what we already have with Tobias and Jaden Ivey and the depth that we have. And then I'm also okay with the move in the margins, which is maybe more of what this team should do, to be honest, as we think about it. Like, best case scenario is, for me, we use our picks and maybe a guy or two that doesn't start, like a Sasser, like Ivy, like even Ron Holland, and use our picks and one of those guys and get a little bit better. I think that's ideal for me. Like, trade none of your starters, bring somebody in who improves you, and keep this running, because this team has got a big enough body of work to show that what they have, it works against pretty much any team. Like, we've beaten a lot of good teams. It's not like we're just playing the Eastern Conference. We've beaten some good teams in the Western Conference too, and we are 36-12. So that's why one of those moves in the margins to me, where we get better, use our picks, is the best move. But I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry or throw a fit if we go for it, make a bigger move for a great player. Yeah,
I'm with you. I think the likelihood of a marginal move to me is highest, but I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think, excuse me, you can do the marginal move and go take a big swing. You have enough assets here. You have enough movable players here. Even Duncan Robinson, like, that contract's not impossible to move. Karis LeVert, that contract's not impossible to move. It'll be an expiring one next year that team that taking it on can move as well. So Ron Holland, Asar Thompson, even for the right move, we can do these things. It's just got to make sense, and you got to trust in Trajan Langdon's ability to read those plays and make the right move.
Yeah, see, I get a little bit scared thinking about moving some of those guys who have been pivotal pieces to the team. And similarly to how I'm just a little bit hesitant on Tobias because of what he's meant to the team in this really, really good season of winning 36 games and losing 12. Like, Tobias, Duncan Robinson, Asar, those are three key pieces to what the team's done. So I'm a little nervous about any of those guys being moved. It's got to be really the right move. Like, I mean, you better be pretty sure if you're going to take a team that's in first place, and not only are we in first place, but we're like 6 games ahead of the next team. if you're going to make a big move in that position, you better be pretty sure if you're trading starters on your team, like it's good. You got to get better. You can't do that and then not get significantly better.
Yeah, you have to. And when you look at the field too, especially in the East, the Knicks, they're on a win streak, but they've had some drama all season. Celtics don't have Jason Tatum. I don't know if he'll come back this year, but they're punching way above their weight class right now. Sixers suck. Cleveland's they're a threat. Magic doesn't, this is the time to make that move. I think it's cement yourself in the East, and it's just got to be the right one. And I will, this will be the last time I bring up Trey Murphy, I promise. But Trey Murphy, I like that New Orleans Pelicans have both the Bonehead Express of Troy Weaver and Joe Dumars running that organization. Because
I didn't even realize that.
You didn't realize that they were both there? Oh, my God.
I knew Joe Dumars. I forgot that's where Troy Weaver went.
Dude, I think you can go in there and offer, offer Bobby Clintman and somebody else, and Troy Weaver will be like, we do need some size and and just take whatever you offer them because they're fucking idiots.
That's oh man, that's a great point. But man, I keep coming back to hesitancy, and when I think about what I'm hearing a lot on like Detroit sports radio and like seeing in social media and stuff, is people being like, why are Pistons fans like so unwilling to make a move? Like, why do they get so attached to their players? I would completely agree with that in most years. Like, I think we do. I think we just get we over value our players, not just on the Pistons. I think we do with like all of our Detroit teams, but I don't think that's true this year. Just looking at what they've done, like normally when we're saying something like that, we're just too attached to our players. We're like trying to get into the playoffs. We're like on the cusp of making it into the playoffs, and we're going to trade somebody that's been an impact player.
Yeah. Should we move KCP?
Yes.
Back in the day, no,
exactly.
It's different than it is now.
It's so different, and that's why you got to be so careful because you're in such a good position right now. So it's going to be exciting. The one thing that we can't do is nothing. We can't do nothing. Because
I agree.
Then you're not giving this team the best chance to win. If you do absolutely nothing, you don't improve at all, and other teams around you do, then you've just the other teams made a step and you didn't, and so you get left behind, or they kick closer to you. Can't let that happen. But I feel like Trajan Langdon is in an unenviable position right now.
Sure.
Because if they don't make a move, people are going to be pissed. If they do make a move and they don't improve, like their back half of the season is worse, then that's even worse than if they didn't make a move.
Right.
Like he's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
But
then you get into the. That's a good point, because the back half of the season is going to be tough no matter what, right? You get the teams that are in it and that are gunning for you. That you establish yourself as a top team in the East. It's those dog days of the NBA season in February and March, where you got to just grind it out and get to April. That those games are just inherently harder to win. So yeah. I mean, I don't. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility to go on slump at any time in the back half of the year, whether we make a trade or not. So I'm with you. I don't envy the position that Trajan Langdon is in, but I'm with you too. We got to do something. We have to improve this team a little bit, and we just have to make a run. I think with Cade and the level that he's playing at right now, and just being so well recognized across the league, some of the problems that we have with our other teams, in terms of like it not being a destination for free agents and all that kind of stuff, it's not really the same for the Pistons right now, right? We have control of a lot of our assets. We have draft picks that we can move. We have young players we can move. We have another all-star in Jalen Duren, and we got Cade, a guy who everybody in the league recognizes as a stud, right? So it'll be easier to for instance, if we don't trade Tobias Harris and keep him around and do a marginal move, fast forward to the offseason, we can use his cap money to bring in somebody who wants to come here because they recognize what we have. That's a position we haven't been in as a team in a while, so I think that it just makes Trajan's job even harder, in my opinion.
It does. And like what you just said there, I just want to double down on, just because you have an expiring contract player does not mean you have to move him. Like, we can use that cap space for ourselves. So that's another advantage to keeping him. On top of him being a great, just weapon on offense, he's also a vet, and he's also a great guy, sounds like, in the locker room. Adds some good stability to the team. But then he gives you some flexibility in the offseason too. Like, there's probably more upside to keeping him than to just throwing him in a trade, for sure. Like, that's where I kind of started with this. I want to go back to that. Like, I see a lot more upside for us in keeping Tobias. In 90+% of the scenarios, it's really for those couple key marquee guys that I'm willing to part with him. And that's their biggest thing to solve. That's their biggest question, I think, in this trade deadline, is Tobias. He is the biggest question mark. Because he's the key to unlock those bigger trades. So he's the one they really got to decide on.
Yep. And if they keep him and they win a championship, Wilson, we talked about this before, Wilson will get a Tobias Harris back tattoo. It's going to get Harris across the back, the big number 28, and it's going to be a sketch of him holding the title.
I will get. How about this? I will
the
not
whole
get a
back.
Tobias.
The whole back. It's going to be a $4,500 investment. 17 hours of tattoos.
That is my nightmare. But I will commit to this right now. If the Pistons win the championship this year, I will get a Pistons tattoo. Not a Tobias Harris tattoo, but I will get a Pistons tattoo.
Okay. We're holding you to it. You heard it here, folks, live.
I absolutely would love that.
Well, recorded by the time you listen to it, but on Take the Points.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. I would be excited about it.
I love that. I'll go with you. We'll document the whole thing. God, I hope this happens. That'll be great. But I also hope the Pistons win the championship in general. I think that's – and look, dude, like, we could – the fact of the matter is, like, no team this year really – it dominates. Even the Thunder, right? They have their blemishes.
Dude, they're 6-4 in their last 10. Like,
yeah.
They're super beatable. They're a great team.
Super beatable.
And it's hard to go back to back too.
Yeah.
It's why it's so rare in the last 20 years of the NBA. It's only been done by the Warriors, the Heat with LeBron, and I think that's it in 20 years. The Warriors, when they got KD, went back to back, and the Heat did it with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
And prior to that, it was Spurs, Lakers, Celtics, Pistons, Bulls.
Yeah, it used to happen all the time.
Dynasty after dynasty. So it is. Yeah, exactly. You're right. It's a good. There's more parity than there's ever been, and the Thunder too. But that also puts into perspective. Okay, Thunder have an ability to be the next dynasty. And they have 113 draft picks to trade away and try to get better. Ridiculous. So you talk about the guys like Lauri Markkanen, Giannis, right? Those are guys that, like, watch out for OKC. Maybe not at this trade deadline, but in the offseason for sure. Like, go in to get that other foundational guy with Shai. That's what scares me. So, again, another reason to go all in this season and try to win a championship as the Pistons.
Yeah, man. Jeez, that is kind of scary. But at the same time, I'd have the same concerns if I'm them that I do for the Pistons. Like, it's worked so well. Like, for them to go make a big move right now would be really ballsy. I think in the offseason they'll have a lot more chance to do that. Like, I don't see them being huge move makers at this deadline. They'll probably get better in the margins, though, too. Just like we're trying. Just like I'm saying I think we should do. They will. So, another reason why you can't stay stagnant.
Yep.
Same thing with the Knicks. They're going to do that too, and that's our real one that we need to get past is the Knicks. They were looking pretty good. They were looking pretty good last night.
They won like 5 straight, I think. So.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting run down the stretch, but
Any move we make should be with them in mind, with beating them in mind. What is it going to take to beat them in a 7-game series? That's what we need to think about I should have said that earlier. That's what we need to think about in this trade deadline is how do we beat them?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And even Cavs, Cleveland, they're going to be no walk in the park. And they made a move the other night. Wonder if it's one of those like precursor moves to something else. So, it'll be an interesting next couple of days here. What is it? Thursday? 3 days?
It's
away?
Thursday.
So,
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Buckle up, folks.
Maybe we'll have to hop back on right after it and do a recap one.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe an emergency pod Wednesday night when they trade for Lauri Markkanen.
Oh, I'd be excited to do that.
We'll do that, but great. Well, that's all I think we had for you today.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
NBA trade deadline, Pistons talk, our favorite.
I like being focused on one thing here. Just ripping on only NBA.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, and Sparty probably can't focus on much else after last weekend too, but that's fine.
I did say I'd give Michigan a slight edge, and they won it in a close one. So I was pretty.
Yes, they won it. Yes, they won it in like a 16-point close game.
Wait a minute.
Well, what was the final?
Did you watch the game? Because
I did. I watched. No, you guys did come storming back, which was
they were up by a couple points with like 5 minutes to go.
Right, but they they lost and blamed the refs
lose
but that's fine.
No, you got to blame the fact that they sucked in the first half, turned the ball over like crazy, and couldn't shoot to save their lives. Yeah. But
hey, you know what? Real talk, honestly, this is going to be a fun March for these two teams. Both of these teams are really, really good. It's going to be a fun one for us this year.
It sure is. And I am hopeful that still in the next, but that we go to Ann Arbor and even up that series for the year. I think it's likely. Yeah,
shout out to the Sparty faithful for giving Dan Campbell a rousing ovation when he walked in to the Breslin.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was great. He just played it off so cool. Too cool, Dan. Total stud. All right, well,
all right, man. This was great. Yes, thanks for listening to another 47 minutes of our show, and we will be back here very soon on Take the Points,
a true underdog podcast.
Peace.